And so after many attempts of trying to get out the pit lane, we are finally here. Hello everyone, welcome back to round 2 of the GT Sport League. And yeah, we're finally streaming on Gavra's YouTube. Unfortunately the Twitch isn't working, but at least we're streaming nevertheless. We're here for round 2 of Sardegna Road Track A backwards, here for the 18-minute qualifying. You see Manuel trying to get on with it as we have a bit of a train forming in the final sector. We had a few pit lane glitches, which is why we're starting a little bit later than usual. It's currently 20 minutes past the starting time. Nothing we could do about the glitches, I'm afraid, but we're finally racing here in the beautiful Italian made-up track. We've gone from one made-up Italian track to another, from Lago Maggiore to Sardegna A. And after last week's thrilling race, Playducci leads the championship, closely followed by Toussaint and Tiger, really closely followed. If you've done it by time, technically 9 thousandths split them in the last race of the last race of the championship, sorry, last week. But welcome to everyone watching. Tiger getting a little bit out of shape there through turn 2, but a new track to the GT Sport League. We've never done this combination before. Group 2, the Group 2 cars around Sardegna A backwards. We've done Sardegna A forward in the Group 3 cars, but doing it backwards is definitely an interesting combination. Apologies if you heard loud banging noise. I was just checking if my mic was actually on, because I remember muting myself before streaming. Anyway, Manuel is leading this slipstream train. This track is a lot like Monza, except without the middle sector, if that makes sense. It's, as you can see in the top right, it's practically a square with lots of overtaking opportunities. Should be a really interesting race, I think. I'm not joined by Cryptech this week, but hopefully next week he'll be back up in the commentary box, supporting me all the way. Anyway, we've got Manuel coming through the final sector now. He's got Dan Schneider and Tiger Assassin closely behind. Piero just dropping a little bit behind these three. Into the final corner we go, which leads on to the long back straight, well, the start finish straight, sorry, the longest straight in the run down towards turn 1. You really want to get a good exit through the final corner so you can prepare yourself for a move into turn 1 and 2 in the race. Tiger Assassin goes provisional pole, as Manuel and Dan are actually going to get a bit racy here through turn 1. It's like 130R, that left-hander, except there's a barrier on the right-hand side to greet you if you run wide. But it's Tiger on the mediums who sets the fastest time so far. I believe you only have one driver who's not on the mediums, and that, if I can find them, when I find them, here they are. Aston in 7th place, currently on the super soft tyres in this train. He's got his teammate Thunder 50-50 behind, and Ted in, who's replacing Websons tonight, teaming up with the current 8th place driver Piero. Hopefully those two will score some good points for the team. 4.5 tenths separates first from second, as Tiger gets past Manuel, who's backing off on his lap. And we might see a few laps on the mediums because of the new rule that I'm introducing. You've got to do whatever time you're doing qualies, the tyre you start on. So we might see people pit for fresh mediums. A lot of people starting on mediums, and these, obviously the mediums have the longest durability, so we might see multiple laps in. A little bit of a train. I think there's some traffic forming for Aston here, trying to go down the inside of Rick Holt. He's got his teammate right behind him. Don't think they're racing. I think they're trying to get in a quali lap. But some traffic forming in the final sector. There's only one person not in the train, and that is Playducci, currently on an outlap after doing a 2-minute 20.9. Piero improving on his fastest lap, going up into 6th place. FGR Finn goes up in 7th, but Piero gets pushed down by Bonnie Evil, who moves up into 6th place in the qualifying session. Thunder improves, Richard Stahl also improves, moving his way up to 13th, only 100th behind Thunder 50-50. But there's a massive train here in this final sector, and we had similar scenes at Monza last season and every other season we've done Monza. But if just a word of warning, if the commentary isn't the best this week, I got my COVID vaccine this afternoon, so yeah, apologies about that. Hopefully the race will provide, it should do, hopefully will do. I have no doubt in these drivers performing a stunning drive today. Rick Holt on his quali lap. I was going to say he's stuck behind Ted. He's now alongside Ted. He's now ahead of Ted, who goes a little bit wide. Someone else going wide. I think that was Thunder, currently in 12th place. Doesn't have damage. No, that was Aston, sorry, going wide, who does have damage. Front right suspension and aero damage for him. Tiger and Finn now going around the final corner. It's a little bit risky getting so close to the driver in front in your quali lap, because obviously you're going to get the maximum slipstream, but if you catch them like Tiger has here, you might lose a little bit of time on your lap. But having said that, Tiger actually improves, but it's beaten by both Toussaint and Dan Schneider. And look how close it is out front. 800ths separate the top two. Toussaint now actually looking for a move on Finn down the inside of the Honda NSX, and moves up into, well, first place in quali, second place in this sort of train that's forming behind Tiger Assassin. Let's have a look to see if Dutchy has done a lap. Runs a little bit wide through the third penultimate corner. I don't actually know what number it is, but I'm calling it the third penultimate corner. But around the final corner, that mistake might have cost him 3 or 4 tenths. But we'll find out. Hello Black Country and Webson's in the chat. Webson's unfortunately not here, but Ted is replacing him. Dutchy goes up into 12th place, but I'm sure he can improve on that, and he might be setting up for a lap here. So let's ride on board, let's take away the UI and just see what's the play Dutchy has got up his sleeve. In towards turn 2, he's keeping it nicely tight against the apex. Really easy to turn in too early or too late for this corner. Now for turn 3, it's almost flat right-hander. Just listening in, a slight lift from the Dutchman, might have been even flat out on those fresh medium tyres, in towards a tricky chicane. It's a left-hander while braking, and then you swing it in for a hairpin at right, and really good overtaking opportunity if you're late enough on the brakes to make it clean and stick. Here's another great overtaking opportunity down the back straight, which is kind of not a straight, but is a straight. It's like Russia in the run to turn 9, I think it is, or whatever corner, turn 12 or something. Braking at the marshals on the left hand side of the 100 beta board, and a really tricky corner to get right because it kind of tightens up on exit. You think you can accelerate, but the barrier kind of sneaks up on you. Braking just before the 100 meter board, drifts a little bit wide, a tad of understeer. This right hander can be taken flat out on fresh tyres, but going through into the final few corners then, a few people improving on their lap. The heavy braking zone in towards the final corner. You really want to get a good exit to get some good momentum and acceleration down the start-finish straight. Dutchy keeping it tight to the inside. Let's see what it's going to be from the Dutch driver. Up to the line. It is an improvement. Where does it put him? Puts him out into P5. So without the slipstream, he's 8 tenths behind Toussaint, who's currently backing off on his lap. So is Tiger. Atimdo appears to be pushing behind Bonnie Evil. Bonnie actually making a mistake, going a bit deep. I'm not sure, it doesn't look like there was contact, but I think Tim is backing off on his lap, sorry, and is going to set himself up for another lap behind Slipstream. Let's have a look and see if anyone else is on a lap. Someone who's not on a lap. Finn running wide at the final corner is not going to help him in the run down towards turn 1. Might pit for fresh tyres. We've got a lot of people on outlaps. Dan Schneider into the pits. Thunder at the front of this train. He's got 2 BCMR drivers behind him who are currently leading the constructors, I believe. It's getting really slow here in the final sector. This track having 3 sectors, unlike Lago Maggiore, which had 4. Wiggly Style improves on his medium tyres, goes up into 13th. Manuel currently 500ths behind Wiggly Style, who's 500ths behind Aston, who's 200ths behind Ted, who's 2 tenths behind Rick Holt. It is so close in this qualifying session. Rick Holt only 700ths behind Thunder, who's 3,000ths behind Piero, who's 700ths behind Finn, who's 300ths behind Aston, who's 300ths behind Bonnie, who's 3 tenths behind Dutch. This qualifying session is extremely close. It could not be any closer. Toussaint only 800th, behind Dan Schneider as they start their another qualifying lap, their 7th lap of the evening. We've got a nice train as well, bombing in the final sector. Someone's round, and that's Manuel currently down in 14th. Let's get a quick replay with engine damage. That's really unfortunate from him. Let's ride on board and see what happened. A little bit late on the brakes. Was it too late on the curb? just a bit too early on the throttle, it seems, for the Austrian driver with engine damage. Will have to be back and come back into the pits to repair it. Meanwhile, Toussaint closely following Thunder in this qualifying session, getting that beautiful toe. Tiger actually in a really good position here to get the slipstream behind Toussaint. He's not too close or too far. He's kind of at that perfect distance where he might gain on his teammate by the end of the lap, as Thunder's in the wall. That's not Thunder, that's Piero. There's Thunder, currently now backs off his lap. Barney as well backing off on his lap, pulling out in front of Thunder, and behind Toussaint, who's also backed off on his time. Tiger is now in front, Dutchy in the middle of the two BCMI drivers. Let's see what play Dutchy does. Currently in 5th place, 4 tenths behind Tiger. I think this is a competitive lap. He's fairly close behind Tiger with the beautiful slipstream in the run down towards turn 1. As they approach the line, what's it going to be? It's an improvement by 5.5 tenths, but moves up into 4th position for Play Dutchy, a 2-time GT Sport champion. Only 3 tenths off provisional pole position. It's a nice train as well at turn 1. I'm trying to find someone in that train. It's the initial train that I was following earlier. Nice train in the middle sector containing Rick Holt. I think Ted's there, Dan Schneider as well. I think Atim might be there, who's starting the mediums and has front bumper damage. Let's take a let's have a look. We can't have a rewind back. Tim got that damage before before the 15-second replay feature allowed it to go. These guys out front, all on fresh tyres, might be going for another run. It looks like Tiger's getting the slipstream on this run. Some might like to say the second driver teammates, but for teams like Red Bull who like to alternate who gets the slipstream, I mean it's a good strat to get your team up in front. Slipstream in this game is so powerful. It can be given about 1.2 seconds back. Obviously it is stronger the closer you are. Bonnie getting a really nice exit actually through the penultimate corner, final few corners, sorry. These are the penultimate corners. Late on the brakes, almost hits the back of that green Nissan. A lot of drivers in the Nissan. I think we've only got one or two Lexuses and one Honda as the front three actually. Well, these three actually decide to come into the pits. Dutchy follows them in. Is everyone coming into the pits? Thunder isn't. He sets a time, moves up into 6th place. Really competitive lap from the Irishman. I think he might have hit the wall there on the right hand side. He's only 2.5 tenths behind Attengren and only 7 tenths off of Toussaint's provisional pole time. But it's getting very what's the word? Crowded, very congested in the first sector here. Lots of drivers not on flying laps, preparing themselves, trying to get in the slipstream. Someone who is on a lap though, or could be on a lap, is Rick Holt, 2.5 tenths up on his personal best. Let's see what the Dutch driver can do in this one. His first race of the official season was in the Red Bull 2014 Championship, which he done extremely well. I actually can't remember who won that, but I remember Rick Holt was definitely up there. Might have even won the entire thing. Anyway, the Dutchman coming around the final corner, currently in 11th place, 7 hundredths off Piero. Where can he put his Nissan? 7th place, improves by 4 tenths of a second and goes just under 3 tenths slower than Thunder in front. 2 tenths quicker than Bon Evil. But look at the train we have forming in the final sector. Let's have a look at the live timings. We get the circle map. Just look how crowded it is. But the number 9 of Aston is at the front of this train and he's actually gone really early. So the cars behind aren't going to get the slipstream. Who would be someone good to spectate? Someone at the back. I think Tiger's close to the back. Dan's at the back. I think Dutchy's right at the back. Dutchy's head right at the back. So here we go then. 2 minutes 20. We've got 2 more quali laps left to go in this session. The guys coming around the middle sector might not make it for 2, but we'll have to wait and see. Manuel moves himself up into 7th place and knocks Rick Holt down into 8th. Dutchy though on his qualifying lap trying to move his way further up the grid down 4th place, but the 2 BCMR drivers in a much better quality position now than they were last week. Tiger in a beautiful position on track. I think that's just within the slipstream range from Tim in front actually goes purple in the first sector. Let's see if, just going to quickly flash through to see if anyone else was going purple. 2 Saints going purple into the hairpin. The sector split for turn 1. I think 2 Saints actually in the best position here in terms of track position. He's right at the back. It's got a beautiful gap to Manuel. Finn improves, goes up into 7th place and knocks his teammate down to 8th, putting Rick Holt in 9th. So it turns out 7th place is a very popular position for drivers to improve. Hello Cryptech in the chat, and hello Jetsy. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Dan Schneider's going purple by 2/10, but so's 2 Saint. He's also going purple by 6/10. I'm trying to keep track of who's going through the sector splits there. Tim was also going purple. Thunder made a mistake by going wide onto the gravel. So who's going to come round and complete the lap first? It's going to be Thunder and Tim who make contact into the final corner. That sends Thunder off into the gravel. Piero Aston is going wheel to wheel. I think it might have been Dutchy having a bit of a loose moment at the final corner, but does Tim improve? Does Piero improve? Tim goes up into 2nd place. Piero and Aston also not improving play. Dutchy goes into provisional pole by 900ths. 2 Saint a 10th behind him. Tim though in 3rd, Dan in 4th, Tiger in 5th. It's getting really congested and there's contact. Let's get a quick replay on board with the Brit. I didn't exactly see what happened. You can see it's getting very slow in front. Tiger braking at the 100-meter board. Hits Piero, who hits Aston. Tim just letting everyone go through there on the left-hand side. Bonnie not happy with Wiggly. Thunder apologising to Tim. It's all kicking off in this qualifying session now. Look at the train forming in the middle sector, led by Aston 50-50. Who was in the Haas in last year's F1 season, is now in a Red Bull themed Nissan for this GT Sport season. Tim currently in the pit lane in 3rd place, so he's not going to be able to improve, as this will be the driver's final laps in quali. Piero getting kind of racy behind Aston, who's improving by 2.5 tenths. Can the Brit improve? No, he decides to abandon his lap and will start no higher than 12th. Let's see what Piero can do on those medium drives. Personal best currently is a 132.6. Can he improve? He's currently 1.9 seconds off of pole position. Hasn't got any slipstream to aid him down the start-finish straight, but let's see what the Frenchman can do. This is going to be a very interesting end to the session. I'm going to have to try and spectate everyone as they cross the line. Can Piero improve? Does improve, goes up into 8th. Tiger doesn't improve. Dutchy doesn't improve either, nor does Dan Schneider. A lot of drivers not improving on their final laps. Who else is coming around the final corner? 2 Saint doesn't improve. So I think everyone was getting held up on each other. Finn's on his final lap. Is he improving? I'm not sure. Hasn't gone through the sector split yet. Someone's going around the final corner. Who is that? That's the chat option. Who is that approaching the line? Who's weaving? It's Thunder up to the line. He doesn't improve. So it's only going to be Finn who is going to see if he can knock anyone off pole position. What can the German do in the Honda NSX? The only one in the Honda NSX. Can he go pole position? Doesn't improve. It's almost 3 tenths down on his time, but that is going to be another pole position wrapped up for Play Dutchy. Only 900ths in it. And take pole position, but alongside on the front row is 2 Saint. So we've got 2 champions on the front row. Meanwhile, Tim in 3rd place, followed by Dan in 4th, Tiger in 5th, Thunder in 6th, Finn in 7th, Piero in 8th, Manuel in 9th, Rick Holt in 10th, Bonnie in 11th, Ted in 12th. Oh, I think it was Piero and then Wiggly, or Wiggly then Piero. I'm not sure. Who was where? It was Bonnie in 11th, Ted in 12th, Aston in 13th, and then Wiggly in 14th. Piero is in 8th place. My apologies. But let's get all the race stuff up at the bottom. We're not going to be able to see any 5 red lights, but let's imagine they are there anyway. We're preparing for the start of round 2. You can hear the revs of the engines, and it's lights out, and away we go. A lot of wheel spin from the left-hand side of the grid. Tiger getting bogged down initially in the start. Finn and Thunder off to a really good start. You can see Tiger no longer in the top 8, has dropped down quite a bit, going in towards turn 1, down on the outside. Finn, I think that was almost hitting the wall there on the right-hand side, but Finn's going to send one down the inside. Bonnie on the inside as well, down in 10th place. 3 wide between 2 Saint. Manuel, Piero getting onto the grass. Tiger pushing Thunder off. That might be damage for the Irishman. Let's get a quick replay of the start. We can always go back to the live action. Let's ride on board with Rick Holt just to see what happened quickly. We can get a good replay of what happened. Bonnie on the inside. You can see it's 3 wide up in front. Thunder's wide. Piero pushes Tiger into Thunder, into the wall. Really unfortunate from him. Meanwhile, Play Dutchie's leading this race, followed by Tim, and that's Toussaint down to 5th place. Not sure what happened. Might have got Dyer sent down at the head and might have made a mistake, but it's currently in 5th place, and it's 5th and 7th for the 2 BCMR drivers. Rick Holt in 9th, runs wide, hits the wall, doesn't get any damage though, thankfully, and it's now down to 10th, 11th, 12th place as Wiggly Style rounds up the grid. Someone's going for a move. It's Tim down the inside of Finn. Tiger's looking for a move as well on the Finnish driver as it's going 3 wide out in front. Dutchie made a mistake down on the inside. Toussaint around the outside of the Nissan, and that promotes Dan Schneider into the lead of the race. Toussaint closely behind. Dutchie's got damage. I'm not sure where that happened from. Too late unfortunately to get a replay, and he comes into the pits early for a set of soft or super soft tyres. Might try and stretch it out and do an effective 1 stop, because it's effectively lap 1 but still has to use the softs, and that's Toussaint off into the wall with rear damage and rejoins just in front of Tim. Lost the rear. That was a massive crash for Toussaint. We just caught the end of it there. Unfortunately we couldn't see the whole thing. But that's really unfortunate. A lot of mistakes being made, and that's now Dan Schneider up into the lead. Manuel and Finn on the podium in this race. Tiger now up into 4th place. Tim and Toussaint now going wheel to wheel into the left, followed by the right hand hairpin. Toussaint down the inside. That looks like Bonnie diving it down the inside of Piero and moving his way up into 7th place. But what insane racing already. Lots of mistakes. Speaking of mistakes, Dan Schneider's lost 2 positions in 1, and it's now the 2 teammates who are leading this race. Any moves into the fast right-hander? I don't think so. Ted in 11th place, 3/10 behind Rick Holt. Looking out in front actually. Piero might be looking for a move round the outside of Bonnie Evil. Can he make the stick? That a beautiful move from Piero around the outside. So much confidence in his Nissan. He's now going to go wheel to wheel with Thunder, who's going to try and thread the needle between the two. There's not enough space, but Bonnie's going to try and go down the inside. Gets the move done back on Piero, but a beautiful initial move from Piero. Unfortunately, couldn't quite hold it. Bonnie, though, is getting a little bit out of shape there. Riding on board with Piero, might have the launch to make the move, but isn't quick enough down the straight line. Funnily enough, if we can look behind, we can see the gain in Thunder. But I thought Piero had a better run then. Bonnie is Finn's going to send one down the inside of his teammate. Nissan versus Honda. As I forgot what car he was driving there. It's almost going 3 wide between Dan Schneider and these two. Dan looking for a move down the inside. Manuel getting held up a little bit. Here goes Tiger now down the inside. It might be 3 wide between these two. Tiger, what a beautiful move. What an exquisite move from Tiger Assassin. Let's get a replay. These 3 holding each other up. That is 3 positions in 1 corner if I've ever seen one. And that surely deserves overtake of the week. That might be overtake of the season at this rate. We're only on round 2, as Manuel set the fastest lap of the race. I'm sorry, that was beautiful. Meanwhile, Toussaint hasn't pit to repair his damage, unlike Dutchie. Will try and hold out as long as he can. It's a very slipstream reliant track. It's kind of like Monza, but without the Lesmos. There are a lot of medium speed corners, so I guess it kind of is Monza. Effectively, Dutchie rounding up the grid. You can see going through the just approaching the final sector. But what a start. Tiger now leads, gets a little bit loose on the rear. It seems like anyone I spectate makes a mistake in this race. Here we go, Tiger defending the inside line, riding on board with Finn. Is he going to go for it? Doesn't. Plays this smartly. It is almost suicidal to go wheel to wheel in towards turn 1. It's like 130R, but there's a barrier on the outside, so the driver on the outside more often than not will get forced into that barrier, and it's race over, and you'll rubber band back onto the track, and all carnage will break loose. Someone is into the pits. That was Piero. Might have got damage. Is onto another set of mediums. I'm pretty sure he started on mediums, so it's a 3 stop for the Frenchman, Can he work his way back into this race with no safety cars? Because we don't have safety cars in the league, and we have a full grid to actually have someone be the safety car. It was an idea contemplating, but what do you kind of call a safety car in GT Sport? If someone spins and gets damage, I guess, maybe, but it'll be too hard to monitor, too much to judge. We kind of need 3 people, but we don't have the lobby space. Like, we'll need I to commentate and see the crash, someone to also deploy the safety car, and someone to be the safety car, as Finn not being very safe in his manoeuvres, trying to send one down the inside of Tiger Assassin. These two racing very much for the lead of the race on lap 4, as Dan Schneider getting a little bit interested in this battle as well. Might look to the inside, almost sends one down the inside, might compromise this line to Manuel behind. It's a very good job from these two, currently running in 2nd and 4th place. 2 Saints into the pits to repair the damage. Might go into a set of soft tyres. Here goes Finn now down the inside into turn 1. I think Tiger's yielding the position because it's so dangerous to go wheel to wheel towards turn 1. As this is Dan Schneider now sending one down the inside. Wasn't close enough to get the move done on the British driver. Thunder now in 7th place, as this train goes all the way back to Rick Hart. Wrigley 3.4 seconds behind. Here goes Bonnie Evil down the inside of Manuel, who's in the wall and has engine damage. We can get an on-board replay, more than the third person board even. Let's see what happened. Was there contact? No contact, just turned in a bit too late, maybe misjudged where the corner was, where Bonnie was going to put his car, as Finn has a 7/10th lead on Tiger, followed by Dan and Bonnie. Finn Tim in 5th place, Rick Holt in 6th, Thunder in 7th, and Wiggly Star is starting to gain a little bit on this pack, but you can see a battle at the back forming now between 2 Saint and Piero. They might work together to try and get themselves into this race. And as it stands, the top 2 in the championship currently running 12th and 13th, as that's Tim getting all wibbly wobbly through turn. Let me work it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to call it turn 8, assuming that the straight doesn't count as a corner. So that is now turn 8. Anyway, looking back up front to the lead of the race, riding on board with Tiger Assassin, who's bump drafting Finn very smartly, but you don't want to go wheel to wheel into turn 1 unless it's a late lunge. No late lunges though from Tiger in towards turn 2. Anyone else going to go for any late lunges? It doesn't appear so. Wrigley now 2.4 seconds behind Tim. Really doing well to close up on these guys. And I think only Aston was the one who started on soft tyres. Someone's into the pit. It's Manuel to repair his damage. Where is Aston? Currently in 9th place on those super soft tyres, so he's going to have to pit for soft and mediums eventually, whilst all these guys are up front on the mediums. So it's interesting strategy. Might not be working well though, as he's a little bit behind the leaders. Let's have a look. 7.6 seconds behind Finn, who's currently under pressure from Tiger Assassin going into turn 6. I'm calling this right-hander turn 6. I'm not bothered if I'm wrong. You can call me out in the comments later. But Tiger's now going for a move down the inside in towards turn 7 on the fellow German. Not fellow German, sorry. Tiger's British, what am I talking about? And they're both in completely different cars and teams, but here we go. The battle for the lead goes on as Tiger now goes down the inside, will be the outside, and then back to the inside for the final corner, and gets the move done up into the lead of the race. But having the outside line, Finn is going to have a good exit, a good run. You can see in the top left the delta is coming down and down and down and down, and Tiger will be looking in his rear view mirror. As you can see, this is what the rearward shot of the Nissan is. I was going to say Lexus, but remembered he's not in the Lexus this season. Bonnie even might actually try and go for a send on Dan Schneider, who's going for a send on Finn. There's a little bit of contact between the Dutchman and the German. Dan Schneider getting a little bit out of shape actually. That could allow Bonnie Evil to go for a move, but Dan tucks back into this kind of train that is forming. And someone's quite far at the back. That is Manuel after his damage. Okay, I thought that might have been someone else who had pitted. But after 7 laps of this race, Tiger's currently leading, Finn in 2nd, and Dan Schneider rounds out your top 3. Sorry, I just had to take a drink from the first opening laps. Interesting race. Thunder up into 6th place. He's in a really good spot here. after finishing, I want to say, third last season or somewhere last season in the Group B Championship, as a Tiger initially places his car in the middle of the track, moves over to the racing line. Not illegal, just makes it awkward for the driver behind to overtake. Beautiful art of defending, actually. Commonly Fernando Alonso style, just parking it right in the middle of the track, and then it questions your driver, the driver behind you, go to the inside, do you go to the outside? Well, there's barely enough room on either side, but there might be enough room down the very wide start-finish straight. It'll take a lot of weaving to keep someone behind. Tiger defends the inside line. You see how he just brought it over to the middle of the track briefly, just so to keep Finn behind going into turn 1, as keeps him behind going into turn 2. But the Dan Schneider defending from Bon Evil, who's going to try and go round the outside of the Dutchman. Rick Holt getting involved in this as well. Webson's in the chat saying, come on, Piero and Ted. So we've got Ted and Piero fans. Piero pitting early. Ted down in 11th place, 3.7 seconds behind Aston. Ted replacing Webson's in this race. Meanwhile, the gap out front is 2/10 and rapidly closing. Someone's lost it in the middle sector. Who is that? That is Aston. That's a lot of damage for Aston. Let's ride on board and see what happened. Not that calm. He's got Play Dutchy in front. What's happened here? Oh, he's clipped the barrier that sticks out on the right hand side. I have never seen anyone do that before. There is that barrier in Sardegna. In Sardegna B, as we have Fame now going off into the gravel. A lot of mistakes being made in this race. It's almost like, I can't remember what race I'm thinking of. Finn getting on the power to be a little bit too early. Was thankfully able to save it for his sake. Drops down into 3rd place though, and promotes Tiger back up into the lead of the race. And Dan Schneider actually is in a really good spot here in 2nd place. Really good race from him, as they all start lap 9 out of 38. Wiggly and Dutchy, they look like teammates, but they're not teammates. Their liveries might look the same. Dutchy is teammates with Bon Evil, and Wiggly is teammates with Tim, who's just at the back of this little train for the lead of the race. We have 7 drivers here who are within 3 seconds of each other, so that's about 5/10 per driver, if not less. Finn almost defending the inside lines of Bonnie, but it's an interesting place to try and overtake. You might want to prepare yourself for the move here at turn 6. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get the chat up and my phone keeps turning off. Cryptex saying, tell me all the incidents I've missed a lot as Bonnie's going for a move down the inside of Finn, who hits the barrier and loses 2 positions. Rick Holt getting his way up into 4th place and slots in behind Bonnie, so it's now looking good for Rick Holt and Dan Schneider. I've forgotten their team name as well. I'm not very good at my job. Rear wheel drive, or RWD, I can only assume it stands for rear wheel drive. Thank you Dan Schneider for putting it on your number plate. But in terms of collisions, we had Dutchy picking up damage somewhere. I don't know where Dutchy got the damage actually, but Dutchy got damage. Toussaint got damage at turn 1, hit the barrier on the right hand side. Piero's got damage. I don't know where Piero got his damage from. Aston's got damage down in the run towards turn 5, to turn 4, sorry, after the little kink. Oh, right, actually we right on board the Tiger. So going through turn 2 in towards turn 3, kind of turning as the curve stops on the left, and he drifted too far to the right. You see that red barrier there? Just clips that, and that's what sent his car spinning. I think that's all the collisions. We had Manuel as well, sorry, spinning here, I think it was. Got on the power too early, so we've had quite a few collisions. I think Tim and above haven't had collisions. Let me double check. I don't think Wiggly's actually had any issues, so nor has Ted. So I think Ted, Wiggly, 7th and above are the drivers who haven't had any collisions, as Bonnie Evil might look to try and send one down the inside of Dan Schneider, but wasn't close enough to get the move done. Looking just fine. Will Finn send one down the inside of Rick Holt? Doesn't decide to go for that one either, just deciding he's a little bit too far back to make any moves. And just a reminder for any new people watching, this is Group A in our GT Sport League. We have 2 leagues on Friday and Saturday just to go over some rules and regulations. Drivers must start on the tyre they qualified on, and in the race must use 3 compounds: mediums, softs and super softs. In the top 7 only on the medium tyres, as Dan Schneider is going to look for a move round the outside into turn 1. There's not going to be room there, son, as that's going to leave him vulnerable to Bon Evil. Now pulls up to the outside of turn 2, gives Dan Schneider the inside. It was opportunistic from Dan, but not going to be enough room there, as Rick Holt's getting a little bit racy as a look for a move on Bonnie, as they're kind of all working together but not, if that makes sense. It looks that way, but I can assure you they're trying to fight for position. And anyone who says GT Sport has bad racing, this is where I prove thou wrong, as we have the top 7 split by 3 seconds. When was the last time you saw the top 7 split by 3 seconds? And don't say esports, because they are all exactly the same pace pretty much. Zexify cheering on for Tiger in the chat, who's currently leading this race by 7/10, due to a little bit of fortune, as Bonnie gets his way up into 7th place. But I wouldn't say fortune, I wouldn't say it's been luck. Driver collisions, but also a brilliant move on 3 drivers in 1 corner. That was an absolute exquisite move. I need to find what lap it was on, because honestly, if you missed that, guys, I'll try and find what lap it was on. But Tiger made an absolutely stunning move for the lead of this race. I'll try and find it quickly now. I think it was on lap. It's on lap 3. Go back to lap 3. Turn like lap 3, turn 3 actually. Or just watch it from this point on lap 3, as Bonnie's going to try and look for a move on Tiger into turn 1. Rick Holt trying to send one down the inside of his teammate, and the door was open, almost sent it, but wasn't close enough. That was really bold from Rick Holt to be that late on the brakes. Seems to be confident in late braking, as Dutchie's making his way up through the field. Is only a second behind Tim on soft compound tyres, and there's actually 2 tenths purple here, so could be a very quick lap from Tim as Rick Holt runs wide. Could leave him vulnerable though to Thunder. Hasn't got the best of runs, so let's try and get a quick replay. On board with Rick Holt, late on the brakes, almost hit the back of his teammates. Was able to stop it before hitting the barrier. Now in 5th place. Meanwhile, Bonnie and Tiger, it's a brick 1-2. Followed by a very diverse grid. We've got a Dutch, followed by a German, another Dutch, Irish, Finnish, and we've got Sweden but behind, Finland, French as well. So many different nationalities on this grid. Sorry, I just happened to take another drink of water. These drivers haven't stopped overtaking. And the lap of Lago Maggiore was an incredible race. And this already, from a spectator's point of view, I think has been incredible. Finn in for an early stop. Oh, so this might be the strategy that I was talking about last week. Oh no, ignore strategy for now. Tiger's having to defend the lead of the race from Bon Evil, who goes to the outside, might try and switch back on Tiger, try and get a good run, prepare a move into the hairpin. Let's ride on board. Tiger a little bit wide. Bonnie getting closer to the barrier. So you can see different lines being taken into the approach to the hairpin. Bonnie late on the brakes. Almost a collision there. As Dan Schneider's now getting close up behind Bon Evil. As that looks like Thunder and Play Dutchie now going wheel to wheel in the battle for 5th place. Not that, sorry. Dutchie is now getting the move done up into 5th place, and Thunder's going to settle in behind for now. Dan Schneider's going to be very bold and send one down the inside of Bon Evil and make the move done up into 2nd place. I say done, it's not quite done, as Bon Evil's going to not give this one up without a fight, and gets back the move up into 2nd place. No prisoners were being held hostage there, as Dutchie now secures P5 in this race. Toussaint 6.5 seconds behind Tim, and looks like he's struggling a little bit on those soft compound tyres. Can I just say, Play Dutchie pitted for damage, soft tyres on lap 1, and is only 2.7 seconds behind the lead 13 laps later. This guy is an alien. He's an absolute alien on those soft tyres. Does have to pit for super softs. Might not be guaranteed he's going to the end of the race. Finn and Piero might be battling for 11th place, as Aston is 24 seconds behind Manuel, but has made a pit stop. Ted into the pits from those mediums. And I'm just going to get to my point, or back to my point about strategy. Because you have to use the super softs, softs and the mediums, why go the whole race on mediums, the rest of the race on softs, and the final on super softs, if you know what I mean? These guys are all starting mediums, so why stretch yourself out on mediums, then go to the softs, and then go super softs, if that's your strategy? Because you might as well, let's say, okay, we've got 40 laps, let's say. If mediums can do 30, softs can do 20, and super softs can do 10, you would take each tyre to their prime. So if medium tyres are in their prime after, I don't know, 20 laps, you wouldn't take them 27, even if they could. Because you can take soft tyres, let's say, I don't know, 15 laps and be quicker. And then, even though softs could do 25 laps, you might not want to be on them for the whole 25 laps because you've got to pit for fresh super softs, which could go quicker. But hey ho, it's up to the drivers to do their strategy, and Bonnie and Dutchy dive into the pits late on. Rick Holt as well. Dutchy is now on the same strategy, if not a faster one, than the guys around him, because he's pitted, caught up. He can go to a set of, he can pit now for softs, and then pit on for super softs, or can go super soft soft, or could go super soft medium. It's up to him what he does. He started the race on mediums, he's gone to the soft compound tyres. What tyre is he going to rejoin on? As he refuels that Nissan, goes into another set of soft tyres. So he's now on the same strategy as everyone else, effectively, but currently down in, where is he? Where is he? Oh, he's in 7th place. I didn't see him initially. Timings might be a little bit messed up after people are coming into the pits, as we've got Bonnie Evil looking for a move on Thunder, who's put in less fuel, which is why he's come out ahead of these guys. So that is you know, the addedness to my genius. As here goes Bonnie Evil, may not be behind Thunder for much longer. Will Thunder defend the inside line? He does. Bonnie's going to have to try and go the long way round as Rick Holt sends one down the inside, and thankfully there wasn't contact between the two. But I've made it so that the fuel in these cars can go enough for either one pit stop. Hang on, no. So basically, if it was a 100 lap race, Bonnie going for a move down the inside of Thunder. Let's get back to my analogy in a minute and get the move done, but up into 8th place. It might leave Thunder vulnerable to Rick Holt behind, who stays behind for now until Thunder runs wide, and there goes Rick Holt. So it appears that whenever I comment on anyone or anything, mistakes happen, and then people get overtaken. But let's say fuel can go 100 laps. I've made it so you have 70 laps of fuel in the car. So you can use all your fuel. So sorry, you can pit for your first stop and refuel and go to the end. Or you can pit on your first stop, not put any fuel in, do another stint, and then refuel on your remaining laps. So both are effectively the same, but they're different, if that makes sense. If you decide to put more fuel in on the first stint, like Bonnie did, you'll come out behind the guys who didn't put all the fuel in on this first stint, like Thunder. I hope that makes sense. So when Thunder pits now, he's going to have to put in more fuel than Bonnie, because Bonnie's got more fuel. It looks like there was a move up in front. It's the battle between Bonnie and Piero, as Wiggly Style now finds himself leading this race. Currently hasn't pit though. Probably we'll be seeing him into the pits this lap. We're almost halfway through this race. 3 laps time is when Real gets into the halfway phase. I thought I heard Ty screaming, but it was nothing apparently, as Bonnie's actually got ahead of Piero. So he moves his way up into 6th place. Piero now has to defend from Rick Holt. No offence, I don't think this battle is going to last too long. Rick Holt on fresh tyres is going to swoop round the outside of Piero. Thunder might follow him through, up into 8th place on those fresh set of soft tyres. Piero picking up the damage early on. It's really not helped his race as Thunder. Another mistake from him. But Finn is now leading this race with about 60-70, I'd say 60% of his fuel. Has a very fast Play Dutchie behind on about 75% of his fuel on the same compound of tyre. Can Dutchie make a 3-stop strategy work? If so, he'll be the first person to even attempt a 3-stop. Not sure it was by choice though, having picked up that damage early on in the race. So Thunder's initial thought of underfueling has worked really well until everyone has overtaken him. But now finds himself in a solid 7th place, 6 seconds ahead of Toussaint. Has a Dutchie only 6.7, no, 6 tenths. I was going to say 6.7 tenths, but I don't know if you can say that, if that makes any sense. But the gap now dramatically closing to 4 tenths now, 5, as we approach the technical part of the sector. Dutchie's 4 tenths purple in the middle sector, as this train I think goes all the way back to Thunder in 7th, containing Rick Holt, Bonnie, Tiger, Dan Schneider, Play Dutchie and FGR Finn. Currently leading this race. His last lap was a 32.3, and Play Dutchie currently owns the fastest lap of the race. Might be swiftly beaten though by himself, as in the run up to the line, looking at the delta, looks like it's going to be a very good time, but ignoring the fastest lap, he goes down the inside, down the start finish straight, in towards turn 1, is able to hold it down the inside and get the move done up into the lead of the race. That Honda appears to be lacking in straight line speed, which was evident last week in Lago Maggiore, but we've only got one more race in these type of cars before we go to the 2008 version of these cars. So 2008 Group 2. They are beautiful cars, absolutely beautiful, look beautiful, sound beautiful, drive beautiful, and hopefully should provide some beautiful racing, as these drivers are providing us with today. Meanwhile, Tim has caught up to the back of Toussaint, the battle for 8th place on lap 18, as Toussaint is kind of not gaining, but is gaining on Thunder. The gap's still around 6 tenths. Thunder in the slipstream of Rick Holt, in the not in the slipstream of Bonnie anymore, but who is in the slipstream of Tiger, Dan, Finn and Dutchie. It's getting a bit tight between Dan and Finn. Might not be in the slipstream anymore. But our closest battle, one of our closest battles, is the battle for 8th place between Toussaint and Atim, 2 teammates in the F1 Super League last season. Let's concentrate our attention back to the front of the grid, where we have a Honda versus a Nissan for the lead of the race. Finn has never won a GT Sport race, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was leading in Lago Maggiore in season 2 until I commentated Kirsten. Rick Holt unfortunately has disconnected. I think he messaged me saying he couldn't make the race because we started late. We sincerely apologise about that. It was Play Dutchie's internet. So we can all blame Play Dutchie in the chat. He had the pit lane glitch, it's all his fault, and then we restarted and then it was fixed. So now he's winning. So might be some conspiracy theories about that. We have 2 restarts. Now he's winning. Bit suspicious if you ask me. Manuel into the pits for super soft tyres, which he will be hoping takes him 19 laps. As a Cryptech gives Play Dutchie the big old boo. Let's all boo Play Dutchie in the chat. I don't condone bullying, but it's Play Dutchie. It's fine. He's used to it. Previous GT Sport double champion. Hasn't won the constructors yet though. Cryptech's voted Dutchie as the sus driver of the day. We're only on lap 19 though, and the gap has changed a bit between Thunder and Toussaint. Now 4.2 seconds. Now 4 seconds. So Toussaint is starting to gain back on these guys, but is 13.7 seconds behind Play Dutchie, who has Ifin close to company. In 2nd place behind, Dan Schneider starting to gain on these 2. Bonnie who sets the fastest lap of the race a few laps ago on lap 17, a 1 minute 30.432. Play Dutchie's fastest lap Was it 1 minute 30.5 as Tim is going down the inside into turn 1, and that's how you do it. Just scraping the wall on the right hand side. Let's get a replay of that in the slipstream. The battle for 7th place. Just keep it on the right hand side. That was close. That was so close to disaster. Honestly, millimeters separating the end of his career. Yep, Cash Stengel in the chat saying, of course, Dutch is leading. Tell me something new. Has actually pitted twice compared to everyone at pitting once. He pitted on lap 1 because he got damage, pitted from the mediums onto the softs, and at the same time everyone else's pit, he came into the pits for soft tyres, and is now in first place. And yeah, Cryptech, that's where Toussaint hit the wall. I don't think he was going wheel to wheel anyone though when he hit the wall. He might have just got dirty air from the guy in front, but I don't think he was going side by side with anyone. But thankfully, Tim didn't get damage in the attempt to get that move done. Anyway, riding on board with Play Dutchy, you can see the rear wing is an aggressive Honda who's smart about this one. Bump drafting Play Dutchy might be confusing to those in the chat, but prepares himself up for a move in towards turn 2, a place where you're more likely to have less death, as a Dutchy puts his car in the middle of the track, so Finn can't go to the in or the outside. And Cryptech just confirming it was dirty air that got Toussaint into the barrier. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a scrap at the back. Here we go, Toussaint, Finn and Thunder, the battle for 6th place. They've caught up, they're now 1.4 seconds behind these guys, but we've still got a 5-way battle for the lead. Looks like Bonnie and Tiger might be saving fuel, as they have more fuel than the guys around them. Finn burning a lot of fuel compared to Dutchy and Darren Schneider behind, so it's going to be a longer pit stop from him. So we might not see much racing from Tiger and Bonnie, but might be their pit stop strategy that gets them out in front. Had a few people say at the end of last season they didn't want to see fuel saving a thing, but even if I put it on _1, you're still going to get people fuel saving to go to the end. But the only way to eliminate fuel saving is to put it on, to put it off. But I guess fuel saving is part of the strategy. Do you push like Play Dutchy and Finn are possibly doing, or do you sit back like Tiger and save your fuel, shorter pit stop and get track position afterwards? Meanwhile, here we go, Tim now gaining on the back of Thunder. Let's take away this UI at the bottom. We can see him now alongside and is now ahead of the Irishman. Battle for 6th place continues as Toussaint is now behind these guys. Thunder separating the Finn from the brick. None of these guys being teammates, as Tim sets his personal best on that last lap. What can Toussaint do about this? Getting damage on the opening laps. I think Tim got damage, or might have got damage as well. I don't think he did actually. Might be getting confused with someone else. Here goes Finn pulling over. Not quite close enough for him to get the move. Thank you to everyone who has stayed with us for 22 laps in 18 minutes. 18 minutes, obviously including the quali. As Finn is setting personal best. He's definitely not slowing down or giving this one up without a fight. Yes, I saw all the collisions. Well, I saw the end of it. I saw the end of Dutch's collision. I saw him get the damage. I was looking at a replay on lap 1, but apparently Atim braked a bit later and rear-ended Dutchy. That's how they both got their respective damage. There might be some claims put in. If any drivers watching, or if anyone who's racing in Gavra is watching, to make a claim, if you've been involved in an accident, it's not one of those scams, it's not one of those calls, but if you've been involved in an accident, just type in !claim into any Discord chat. You'll be sent to the claims chat where you can post your point of view. You should, well, I think you have to send in video evidence and a small description behind the stewards will sort it out before the next Grand Prix. Anyway, on lap 23, we've got 16 laps left if you are including the final lap And the battle for the lead continues to enthrall as Thunder is overtaken by Toussaint, which I think happened a few corners ago as Tim gets a little bit out of shape. This is going to give Toussaint a nice run down in towards turn 1, I'm calling turn 6. I'm not counting these straights as corners. Tim defends the inside line. Toussaint doesn't decide to go for anything. Meanwhile, back out top, Finn's burning fuel, but not doing anything with the burnt fuel. He's burning his fuel, but he's not able to overtake Dutchy, who still has a lot of fuel. Look at these guys behind with plenty of fuel, probably fuel saving. But here we go. Dan Schneider is closer to Finn than Finn is to Dutchy. Only 2/10 separate the two. Finn is locked in a Dutch Nissan sandwich, one that I'd not want to be a part of. As we might see a few pit stops soon for the super soft tyres. I think they can do about 10 comfortable laps until the time starts to degrade. Looking on the map, we do have a nice battle between Piero and Manuel. These two kind of been together for a lot of the race after their earlier incidents. We got Tim and Toussaint closely battling for 6th place. Thunder is just on the back of these guys, a second behind. And we have the front 5 battling away. And I think Tiger and Bonnie probably in the best position in this phase of the race. They have a lot more fuel compared to the guys around them, but not a lot of overtakes happening. To be perfectly honest, we had a really chaotic start, and as I say that, Finn makes a mistake, might leave him vulnerable to Dan Schneider. Give me 2 seconds, it's not let me do what I want it to do. As a mistake from Finn, let's get a replay of that. So on board with Darren Schneider. Let me do what I wanted to do earlier. You can see there, Finn on the grass and the gravel, getting out of shape. On board with Dan Schneider. Sends one to the inside. That was close to contact. And I think Finn almost was ran out onto the gravel there. But that's now giving Dutchy a 1.4 second advantage in this race. Moves Dan Schneider up into 2nd place. It's a Dutch 1-2 as Toussaint's actually made his way ahead of Tim. Let's see if a replay feature can go that far back. It will do. They go wheel to wheel down the start finish straight in towards turn 1. Tim yields the position, and that's how Toussaint got the move done. Very nice move indeed, as Finn now might be trying to put Dan Schneider under a bit more pressure. But might be thinking more to work together to gain on play Dutchy, who has actually got less fuel than Dan Schneider, but barely as what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say 2 things at once. Tiger trying to go around the outside of Finn. I was trying to comment on Finn's fuel, but Tiger gets the move done. Finn's going to try and fight this one back. We know Finn doesn't like to give up these fights. It's how his strategy used to work, to try and hold up everyone else, so his strategy would work. Not hold up in a bad way. His body's going to send one. That is late. That is a little bit late. And I don't know, the stewards might have a look at that. That was not great from Bonnie there. As kind of barges Finn out of the way, might have to give that position back. Quite unsportsmanlike, you might say, but Finn decides to come into the pits anyway. And that might be a penalty, in my opinion. Really barged his way through there. I'm sure the stewards will be having a swift look at that, and a penalty might be awarded next race. Penalties, I'm assuming we're going to follow the same F1 penalty system, whereby it will be affecting in this race. So let's say Bonnie was to get an LLP1, I think that's a 1 position drop maybe. I think an LLP3 might be 5. I can't remember what the new system is. It used to be you'd get that in the next race, but I think they might be changing it, which makes sense. You get punished for the race you get your penalty in. Cryptic saying it was quite naughty in the chat, and I think had Finn not have pitted, Bonnie might have given the position back, but we'll never know. As Dutchy is now out of slipstream range, almost out of slipstream, I've said that, and the gap's now come down by 4 tenths, so potential mistake from Play Dutchy. But Finn, pitting, I reckon, Finn is going to come out ahead of Bonnie here. Finn pitting early, trying the undercut. If these guys pit this lap, they'll come out ahead of Finn. Okay, so Dan pits, Bonnie doesn't pit, so the longer these guys stay out, the better Finn's strategy is going to work at this point. This now releases Tiger to try and close up to Play Dutchy, who's currently leading the race. In terms of tyre wear, Dutchy's are more worn than Tiger's, and also has a lot less fuel. To St. Dan, Schneider and Thunder all into the pits. This will be for the purple super soft tyre. You see there, Dan exiting the pit lane. As let's actually, can I get, there we go, let's get an on-board lap from Play Dutchy. Just while the racing, there's not a lot of drivers close together, let's get an on-board feel for what it's like to be inside of this Group 2 Nissan. Just listen to his engine noises. Such a beautiful sounding car. As you can see there in the mirror is the gaining Tiger Assassin. Let's just double check. Actually, let's have a look at the live timing circle map. Wow, we got a battle for 9th place going on. Thunder ahead of Manuel and Piero. And the battle for 9th place is our closest battle out on track. At the minute, Play Dutchy comes into the pits. Tiger into the pits with a lot more fuel than Play Dutchy. That could promote Tiger into the lead of the race. He was 1.3 seconds behind Play Dutchy before coming into the pits. I reckon he'll come out comfortably in front of the Dutch driver, depending on how much fuel they put in. 10 laps to go. Should be putting in 10 laps of fuel each. Let's have a look and see who's going to come out first. It's Tiger to come out first, and it's jumped Dutchy in the pits and takes the net lead of the race. Here comes Wiggly and Dan Schneider though. Are they going to get close enough? No, they don't. So luckily for Tiger and Dutchy, they come out ahead of these two guys as Wiggly almost rear-ends Dutchy there, and that allows, might have actually rear-ended Dutchy. Dan Schneider's gone through. It didn't look like there was any contact actually. Oh, there was contact. And that allowed Dan Schneider to go through. Now there's a gap, a car between Tiger and Play Dutchy. I'm sure Tiger would love to win this race. Bonnie and Tim currently in the lead of the front two runners are still yet to pit though for this super soft compound of tyre. As Manuel is now looking for a move on Thunder, who's running in 9th place in this race. Meanwhile, the battle for 4th place, sorry. Dutchy legitly in 3rd place, as Bonnie and Atin are probably going to be in the pits this lap. Bonnie already into the pits. Let's go back down to the battle for 4th place. We'll be able to see if Tim comes into the pits and does come into the pits with a fair bit more fuel, but was a fair bit behind before coming into the pits. So that means Tiger will now have a 2-second lead going on to lap 29 out of 38 here in Sardegna Road Track A, but in the backwards configuration. Trying to find Dutchy, who's actually gotten past Dan. Let's have a look and see how we done it. Dan Schneider defending the inside line isn't enough to hold back Play Dutchy, who now takes 2nd place in this race. Wiggly in 4th place is yet to pit, as Finn only 1.5 seconds behind Bonnie even. This fight, this battle here, could get a bit tasty if he's able to close the gap down, as they crashed earlier on at the final corner. Dan Schneider running a little bit wide, resulting in a poor exit to his fellow Dutchman in front, who is 1.5 seconds behind Tiger Assassin, who got his last race win. Where did he get his last race win? I'm trying to think where he got his last... I was going to say Suzuka, maybe. Might have been Suzuka. Because I know Tim won Germany. It was, I think it's either Suzuka or Fuji. We'll say he won one of the two. But I'm gonna go with... I think it was Suzuka. So I think Tiger's last race win was Suzuka. I took way too long thinking about that. Someone being waved blue flags there. I'm not sure what that's about. As Toussaint is now 3/10 behind Tim, who's improving. Toussaint's improving on his personal best. Would he go for a move on the Finnish driver in towards turn 2? Is smart. Doesn't decide to send one. Finn is now 1 second behind Bon Evil. They've closed the gap up. Dutchy's now 6/10 behind Tiger. There might have been a little bit of traffic. There is traffic in front. I believe it's Aston who is in front of these guys and will be giving Tiger slipstream, or close to be giving Tiger slipstream, as we've only got 9 laps left to go in this race here at Sardegna. Any moves? I'm trying to look at the leaderboard and the map to see if we've got any potential moves. Finn's gaining on Bon Evil. Might get a bit personal between those two. Toussaint and Finn battling for 6th place, and that's Dan Schneider getting out of shape. But it looks like for the final 8 laps we're going to have a battle for the lead of the race between Tiger Assassin and Play Dutchy, 2 previous race winners. Both had pole. Tiger though is yet to win a Drivers' Championship. Dutchy yet to win a Constructors' Championship. Here we go though, in towards turn 1, the gap almost less than a tenth. It is less than a tenth. Tiger will defend the inside line, but not enough, as here goes Dutchy now to the inside. He's going to be as late as possible, but not enough room. Tiger covers him off and defends the lead of the race for now. Dutchy's going to have to settle in for 2nd place. As you can see now, Finn is right behind Bon Evil, and I'm sure the toys are going to be thrown out the pram for that one. The gloves are going to be thrown off, and no mercy will be shown between those two who collided earlier on in the race. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead plows on. Dutchy versus Tiger. Sorry, will he go for the move down into turn 6? Doesn't decide to send one there. I'm apologising if I'm getting these corner numbers wrong, but I'm calling that as turn 6. All those little kinks on the top, I'm not gonna talk about. Through turn 7, onto 8 then. Play Dutchy running a little bit wide, almost finding himself losing control of the Nissan, but he's able to maintain it on the track as we go through the final corner. And Dutchy's actually got a really good run. Tiger will be having to look into his mirrors. Which way will Dutchy go? It's the outside line for turn 1. No one's going to back out of this one for the lead of the race. Tiger down the inside of Dutchy. Will Dutchy get forced up into the wall? And it's clean between the two. They go wheel to wheel through turn 1. Dutchy on the inside for turn 2. And it looks like he might get the move done. Tiger's going to try and hold it around the outside. Can he get the move done? He's got really good traction on exit on those super soft tyres. Can he get the move done? They're still wheel to wheel in towards turn 3. Tiger getting the rear out. That was close edge stuff. Look at this. Look at the left hand side of Tiger's car. He goes onto the grass, gets the rear all out of shape. Thankfully didn't end up in a barrier for him, as we now have a battle for the podium position. Bonnie, Finn and Dan Schneider. But more importantly, the battle for the lead. Dutchy flashing his lights. He wants that camera attention. He wants to be the one who's getting all the screen time here for the lead of this race. But who's going to win it? Let me know in the comments, in the chat even, not the comments, or you can do it in the comments. Who will win this race and who will claim 3rd place on the podium? Dan Schneider's getting a little bit out of shape. This could allow Bonnie to go for a move round the outside into the penultimate corner. And Dan will try and defend the position, defends the inside line. What can Bonnie do about this? Try and get a good run maybe in towards turn 1, which is where the two leaders will be approaching. They're going to try and go wheel to wheel again. This time Dutchy opts to go to the inside line, and Tiger's going to have to try and hold it around the outside. Takes the widest line possible, which will set him up nicely for turn 2 if he sends it. Doesn't send it. Bonnie though gets the move done up into 3rd place and puts a car between himself and Finn. And now Dutchy has the lead of the race. Tiger though isn't going to let Dutchy win 2 from 2. Let's get out of that cam. Ride on board with the assassin. Does he send one? Doesn't send one into the hairpin. We're going to continue to ride on board as he now tucks into the slipstream of the Nissan in front. He's gaining, but is he close enough to go for a move? We'll have to wait and see. Through the little kink of a left. He's late on the brakes. He's pushed Dutchy a little bit through the corner. Finite racing for the lead of the race. Toussaint and Tim still really close to each other on track, both suffering damage early on. So we have we have technically 4 on-track battles if we pay our attentions to Manuel and Piero, who have been fighting for a lot of this race as well. Can Piero maybe go for a move? He's got a good exit. Having said that, Manuel is pulling away slightly, but going back to the lead of the race. Here goes Tiger now. He's going to bump draft Dutchy in towards turn 1. Black Country's asking for a photo finish. We might see one. We'll have to wait and see as he's going to go 3 wide maybe in towards turn 2. That camera angle definitely looked like it for a split second. Dan Schneider getting out of shape on the rear might open up an opportunity for Finn. Toussaint and Tim going wheel to wheel now in towards turn 2. I didn't want to do that, no, I'm sorry, but there's Toussaint getting the move done late on the brakes, and there's Toussaint now ahead. Let's try and get that back. Here we go, so we can see how we got it done there, still wheel to wheel in the one to run towards turn 3, and that's how Toussaint got ahead of Tim. In the battle for 6th place, we have battles going on everywhere. Piero is behind Manuel, but for how much longer? In towards turn 1. Can he make anything of it in towards turn 2? He might do actually, to the outside. And doesn't get anything of it, because I'm just going to have to quickly pan up to this battle as Dan Schneider now gets his way up onto the podium. Let's see how he done it. Down the inside, beautifully done. And that's him up into 3rd place. Meanwhile, the two leaders, Dutchy and Tiger Assassin, who gets a beautiful exit. A really nice run onto the final corner. It's going to take a bad run from Dutchy to get something's happened at the back here. Dan's lost the positions. What's happened? Another send from Bonnie. That might be looked at by the stewards. I didn't get an onboard to see what happened, but a lot of contact from Bonnie Evil there. It's getting a little bit reckless now in this battle for the podium. Might be getting a penalty after that earlier collision with FGR Finn. Meanwhile, Piero and Manuel still battling for 10th place. Battle the lead though, with only 4 laps to go. Who is going to win this race? Who's going to finish on the podium? It's definitely going to be an interesting one. Has Finn got the tyres left to gain on Bonnie, who goes a little bit deep in towards turn 7? Meanwhile, out top into the final corner. Here we go. Let's cue the best commentary you've ever seen. Go back and watch Austria Season 1, I think, if you haven't already, because here comes Tiger Assassin now in the run towards turn 1. He's going to bump draft to play Dutchie. Would it decide to go for a move? Doesn't decide to yet. He's going to save his opportunity for turn 2, but he looks like he was going to go for a move. Dutchie decides to not defend the inside line as our Tiger compromising his run in towards turn 2 and has to settle for second place for now. Not going to see any overtakes into turn 3 unless you're wheel to wheel with the car in front or behind. Meanwhile, the battle for third place continues in full force as it's Bonnie, Finn or Dan Schneider who finish on the podium. Meanwhile, Toussaint and Tim in 6th and 7th place, fighting away pretty much since the start after picking up damage early on. Thunder in a bit of no man's land really, with damage. Not sure where he got that from. Ruby Style might gain with 4 seconds and 4 laps. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, the battle out front, Dutchie defends the inside line. What can Tiger Assassin do about it? Riding on board with the Nissan, 2 Nissans battling away for the lead of the race, but which one's going to come out on top? Will it be the Brit? Will it be the Dutch? We'll have to find out. Dutchie won the opening race of the season. Tiger missed out on second place by 9 thousandths of a second. I'm sure he's not going to want to lose this race by any more or any less. Finn just dropping off a little bit to Bonnie in front, 6 tenths separating those two. Tiger might try and just send one now in towards turn 1. It's going to keep on sending it into turn 2. Let's ride on board and see which way does he go. And Dutchie parks his car in the middle of the track. Doesn't allow Tiger to go to the in or outside. Tim and Toussaint are battling wheel to wheel towards turn 1, and how someone didn't hit the wall there, I will never know, as the Dan Schneider's got the move done on Finn. Let's have a quick replay to see how he done it late on the brakes. Finn is really getting battered in this race. Not in a bad way, but a late move from Dan Schneider and a few door bangs in the process, as we are actually on the penultimate lap of the race. Here we go, it's all to play for here. Play Dutchie versus Tiger Assassin, Bonnie versus Dan versus Finn, Tim versus Toussaint. Now the auctioneering begins. The battle for the lead of the race. You will never see Crofty do anything like this. So strap yourselves in, because we're going to go on a roller coaster of a ride here. Here we go, the battle for the lead of the race. Lap 37 out on 38. 2 extremely fast drivers in this league going at it for the lead here as we start the final lap, going down the start finish straight. Tiger with a really good run through the final corner is gaining and gaining. Might take his opportunity in towards turn 1 this time rather than turn 2. He's not going to send it this time. He's going to play it smart. Toussaint's getting the move done on Tim. I'm just going to see if Tiger's going to be able to send one on Play Dutchie to the outside maybe, but it's not quite alongside enough. Can he get the switchback move? Can't quite do that. Toussaint going wheel to wheel to turn 1, and that's him into the wall with engine damage, suspension damage, a lot of damage. Let's ride on board with him for one last time. Toussaint gave him the room, a lot of understeer. Couldn't quite pull it off. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead. Can Tiger get a good run? He's gaining quite a bit on the leaders. None of the guys on the podium seem to be close enough to go for a move on either of them, on each other. This might be his last overtaking opportunity. He might try and send them into the final corner. We'll have to wait and see. Here goes Dutchie now. Defends the inside line. Tiger's going to try and swoop one round the outside. Is he close enough? He kind of gets forced up into the wall. They're both low on fuel. Tiger is low on fuel, but he should be able to make it to the end with a few corners to go. This could potentially be the third photo finish of the season. Will he send it? He's gaining. Does he send it down the inside? He doesn't. Dutchie defends. We might get another photo finish as Tiger gets a little bit out of shape. And that might be it. Round the final corner, it's going to be another drag race to the line. Who's going to get it this time? You cannot write this as Dutchie wins by 400ths. 400ths. Here goes Finn on Dan Schneider, who's run out of fuel. Dan's run out of fuel. Oh my days. I am speechless. Absolutely speechless. Here goes Tim with his engine damage. Finishes in 7th place. And there is the rest of the grid. But Play Dutchy wins the race, and for the 2nd race in a row, Tiger misses out by less than half a tenth. 400ths. Wow. Wow indeed. Going through the rest of the grid though, Dutchy won, followed by Tiger in 2nd, Bonnie in 3rd, rounding up the podium, might be under investigation from the stewards. Finn in 4th, Dan in 5th, Toussaint in 6th, Tim in 7th, Wiggly in 8th, Thunder in 9th, Manuel in 10th, Pierre in 11th, Ted in 12th, Aston in 13th, and Rick Holt was the only one not to finish after disconnecting halfway through this race. I don't know why the race ended so early. Toussaint is hosting this lobby, so he might have had the race finish only a minute rather than a minute and a half, but unfortunate for that. Wow. I'll leave it on the results, as that is going to be the end of round 2. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did, because we've had 2 thrilling races in this group so far. Next week, join us for Fuji, where we have the first sprint race of the season. I'll tell you more about that next week, so stay tuned for that. But until then, I'll see you next time, and goodbye.